I'd like to just say one more time, a very warm welcome to session 7 of our African Speakers Bureau for Entrepreneurship series. We're so grateful that you've made time to join us here. And in order not to take up any more of your time, we're going to get started. And hopefully, because we're recording it, those who join us a bit later will be able to grasp what it is we've discussed before. This morning, in my part of the world, we are so privileged to have with us Dr. Foluke Sola Ojo. And what Dr. Foluke is going to speak about is titled Agripreneurship, the prospects for an enhanced livelihood. Personally, I'm really excited to be here to learn because this is something that I believe will help me as I've just started a little project in farming as well. So I'm going to say a little bit about Dr. Folake Sola Ojo. And could I please ask that if you're not speaking, could you kindly mute your microphone just to make it easier for us in case someone else is talking to you? So Dr. Foluke Sola Ojo is an associate professor. Sorry, could I please ask that if anyone is not speaking, could they kindly mute their microphone, please? So Dr. Foluke Sola Ojo is an associate professor of animal breeding and genetics in the Department of Animal Production in the University of Ilorin. She's an agriculturalist and a trainer of graduates and runs self-employment courses as well. I believe Dr. Foluke will give us a little bit more background about herself, but one thing I know about her is she is a real star. Right from the start of this enterprise, Dr. Foluke has been with us. She's been very solid in her contributions, in the feedback she gives us afterwards, in the initiatives that she promotes. And I know that we're in for a fantastic treat this morning. So I'd like you all, please, if you don't have your notebooks or phones to make notes, please grab something very quickly. And this lesson, I believe, will be impactful, not just to our brains, but to the activities we engage in. So someone has just said, that's our star woman. And I think that's a fantastic way to describe Dr. Foluke. So I know you didn't come here to listen to me. Dr. Foluke, you have the microphone. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Irene. Like I used to say, you are a sister, and you used to say that you are a sister anyway. So I so much appreciate you. And I want to say that from time to time, I appreciate the founder of this initiative, because it has always been my passion to impact positively into people's life. I'm not somebody that hide what I'm doing and is beneficial to me. I'm somebody that if I'm into a business or any agripreneurship enterprise or any activity and it's profitable to me, I always want to share with people, and I want people to learn one or two things from it so that they too can actually live a good life. For example, in Nigeria now, everywhere is tough, the situation is tough, to get money is difficult, but as tough as it is, there are still some things that one can do and still live a meaningful life. So when this program came on board, I was so excited about it because it's not something I can do all alone by myself. I actually need a platform to carry people along. I need a platform to showcase my ability. I need a platform to get people behind me. Well, I'm not a pastor, I can't go and start a church and start advocating for that. But this platform has been a very wonderful one. And I believe through this entrepreneurship platform, a lot of people will gain one or two things and focus on their side hustle. I call it side hustle or side business rather than side nonsense or side things that will take money away from their purse. So thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity. I have about 45 slides to share. Can I share my screen now?
I believe you should be able to.
Okay.
Professor Dapo, we're in your hands in that regard. Fantastic.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I've been introduced. So slide 1 is just about the topic, entrepreneurship, the prospect for an enhanced livelihood. The outlines of my presentation are introduction, then I have road to entrepreneurship, pillars of entrepreneurs, characteristics of entrepreneurship, skills in entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship for livelihood, success tools and prospects in agriculture side also. Then I have short class exercise for us, then conclusion and recommendation. I want to believe that some students that they are not able to, have data on their own, they are for them, whereby they can see what is going on and learn 1 or 2 things. We are good to go. We can start because I've contacted them and I've been told that they are already in class listening to this discussion. My introduction. Agriculture, sorry, I want to shift the presentation so that I can see what I'm sharing. Okay. Agriculture, as we all know, encompasses crop and livestock production, aquaculture, fishery, and forestry for food and non-food products. And we agriculturists, we are experts that get paid from agricultural activities. Being an entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, it plays a during a source for many people who are interested in agriculture. Entrepreneurship ensures sustainability of agricultural products, thus making it pretty, and as we all know, wealth enhances livelihood. Can make principal parts of any society. And like, then you get or before you can be successful, don't give up. Just be looking at your destination. What are the pillars of agripreneur? Of the environment they hit, what are the things they don't. To be wrong for you to go into pig or swine production in Muslim community, nobody will buy it. There's a particular town in Kwara government where we were doing our survey. We discovered that in this particular town, nobody eats duck, and you can't even bring duck to the village. So you need to understand where to get good raw material. After stating the pillars of agripreneur, I want to move to characteristics of an agripreneur. I call these characteristics positive characteristics because it's supportive, it's observant, thoughtful, loyal, and efficient. And these are initiative and capability to identify and take proper benefits of opportunities that are around you. Then you have to be single-minded and be willing to adopt new innovation and don't discard traditional opinion. You have to be an inventive leader, must be ready to disturb the core of the society, of the status, and you must look for creative ideas always to make improvements and expand your setting or organization. You have to operate a business in different zones. From time to time, you need to be dynamic. You need to have ability to combat threats, always have plan B and ability to combat insecurity. You have to be a visionary leader and a risk evaluator. You need to have ability to organize people in a good way and build strategies as well as technologies to suit the changing environment. You have to be creative in terms of solving problems, and you must understand the process of decision making. An agripreneur must be resilient and be of good spirits always. They must show attitude of friendliness. Other attributes of agripreneur are a passionate leader with strong driving force, an endowed personality with interlocked collection of unique and specific ideas, an overall blueprint to realize vision, and a goal-getter. An agripreneur must be promoter of vision with energy and eagerness. Must be somebody that can take the initial responsibility to cause a vision to become a success. Must be active in positive thinking and decision making. Must be persistent and determined in developing strategy to change vision into reality. Now I'll move to capacity required. If you look at the slide for my capacity required, the arrow is moving from bottom to up. And I will explain this. To be an agripreneur, or what you need as an agripreneurship enterprise, to be an agripreneurship person, the foundation must be technical threshold. You don't just go into the business without knowing the technical procedure of doing such business or such activity. You must be grounded. Then you must be capable financially. Maybe you need to seek a loan through BOI, Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture, or through a grant through government, or maybe you want to save enough to start. Then followed by human resources. Agriculture is not something you can do all by yourself. It requires a lot of effort. It needs energy. It needs both mental and physical alertness to start. So you need human resources. Then after that, the production process. Most farmers actually make mistakes in this process, or let me say those that are involved in agripreneurial business, because most of them used to start from production process. And at the end of the day, maybe after 1 or 2 months, they just drop the business. So if you start from the technical threshold with enough finance, coupled with human resources, then the sky will not be your limit. Other capacities are interwoven together, and those are having an impact, good relationship, the ability to scale up your business. You start a little, then you continue to scale it up one after the other, one step after the other, then ability to sustain your business. I've been in agripreneurship enterprise for the past 30 years, and it's the business I enjoy most. Other businesses introduced to me, I might want to do it, but I will just give up along the line. But I've been able to sustain my agribusiness in one way or the other. And I think it's just the concept of scaling it up gradually. The next thing I'm going to discuss with us this morning is about the skills in agripreneurship. The skills are just like our arm folded together, 5 fingers folded in a single arm, and they go together for you to be successful in agripreneur. We have professional skills, management skills, opportunity skills, strategic skills, and networking skills. All these skills, you must grant yourself in it. You can go for training to learn more professionally, to learn about the management, about the opportunity, about the strategy that you need to use, and also the networking procedure. When you are good with the skills, you can start. This now led me to the 2 major activities in agripreneur. If you have all the background that I've stated from introduction to the point of the skills, you can now decide which one do you want to do. The first one is crop farming. And I call crop farmers, I call them farmers. They are farmers. And the main purpose of crop farming is the cultivation of food crops to fulfill human needs. And it can be performed either on small scale, commercial, or on large agricultural farm. It could be regarded as livelihood agriculture for sustenance of farmers, family, and friends. What are the farmers' core values? I'm a Christian. In the process of preparing for this, I went to the Holy Book, from the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 29. I found the core values of farmers there. A farmer must be good nature. You must have self-control. You must have foresight. You must have dignity. You must be a builder. You must be a creator. If you have all these traits, then you can decide to be a crop farmer. What are the types of crop farming that you can go into? Number 1 is vegetable farming. Vegetable farming could either be dry season vegetable farming or rainy season vegetable farming. For family, for you that you don't want to, gain much from it, you can just involve yourself in rainy season vegetable farming. When you involve yourself in rainy season vegetable farming, it's just for your family and friends. But if you want to go into full-time vegetable farming, you need to practice, and you can do this all year round and make a lot of money from it. I'm just going to talk briefly about 3 types that we have. That's hydroponic farming, pot farming, and vegetable belt. In my slide, you will see a colleague from the University of Ilorin. Is a staff of tech, and I'm sure that at the end of the day, is making 1 or 2 pennies from such farming. The next type is orchard. Orchards are people that love fruit. Orchard farmers, they love fruits. They like to see fruits, eat fruit, share fruits with people. And orchards are pieces of enclosed land planted with fruit trees. You can do it directly, direct planting, your backyard, around your fences. You can do bucket planting for orchard. You can do fence planting. You can do estate farming. At the end of the day, your target is to have a fruit basket that is good for your family and good for your health. The next type of farming is horticulture. Horticulture is the heart of garden cultivation. And flowers are good for aesthetic, they are good for tranquility, they are good for aroma, they bring peace, they make you feel at home, feel relaxed. When you are in an environment that is well terraced with beautiful flowers, you feel on top of the world. So you can start, your agribusiness as an horticulturist. In the course of preparing for this, I chatted with a professor. She started her own with pot flower making, and she has a very good site that people come and buy flower these days. During the strike, she wasn't feeling it when we're not paid, because 1 or 2 people will contact her and buy flower pots from her. The money from it just because she lost flower. So this is a very good aspect that somebody can invest in agriculture. Others under farmings are, I call them holders because I categorize them as annual crop farming, perennial crop maintenance, wood business, firewood, and making of charcoal. All these, you can get your 1 or 2 things from them. The next summary for the crop farming section, I call them soil weights. Start your own with your own area of interest, till the soil, get your wealth, and make a living either through vegetable farm, orchard, horticulture, annual crop, perennial crop, wood, firewood, and charcoal. Number 2 major activities is livestock farming. And I call livestock farmers shepherd. We are shepherds. Livestock farming is simply the management and breeding of domestic livestock or farm animals for the purpose of obtaining their meat and other products, such as milk, eggs, leather, and manure. What are the shepherd core values? I got the shepherd core values from the book of Proverbs, chapter 25, verse 34 to 35. A shepherd must be good at being a man, must be caring, must be non-irritant, must be an embodiment of core virtues of masculinity. We work like a man. I work like a man. That's the fact. Must be courageous, must be resilient, observant, must have honor, mastery, and must have good strength. Good strength that an egg have and can carry a stone. That must be the strength of a shepherd. Then what are the things that you can do as a shepherd? Number 1 is poultry farming. Poultry are all species of birds raised for meat and eggs. We have guinea fowl, duck, ostrich, quail, peacock, and so on and so forth. But the 2 major ones that are good for the youth that they can make quick money from are the raising of broiler chickens and layers chicken. From there, you can get your meat, you can get your egg, and you can get your manure for sales to vegetable farmers. The next aspect is ruminant animal production. Under the ruminant animal production or ruminant animal farming, you can try sheep or ram fattening and sell it during the Ileya festival. You can raise camel, donkey, horse for people that love animals as companion or for aesthetic value. You can go into meat production, beef, veal, chicken, and meat. What about milk production, goat milk, cow milk? Then skin production or skin sales, like one of my students now is into that business and is making a living from it. Then what about manure? You can process the manure, dry it, and sell it for vegetable farmers and other farmers. The next one is aquaculture. Aquaculture entails raising of crab, prawns, crayfish, and other aquatic animals. But fish farming is the major one. Fish farming is a form of aquaculture in which fish are raised in enclosures for consumption or sales. It is the fastest growing area in animal food production. Fish farming can change your situation from being poor to being a very rich person. If you practice catfish farming and you are consistent with it, you will get to a point that you will just be thanking God for the business. Other types of livestock farming are rabbit, snail, grass cutter, swine, apiary, black fly, silkworm production. But for you to get much from it, you need to add value to it. In summary, under livestock wealth, make sure you start with your area of interest so that you won't get discouraged. You care for animals, you get more than your money invested back. It's what you give them, they give you like times 3 of what you are giving back to them, what you are giving to them. You can make your choice, get trained on any of this area and make a living from it. Poultry, ruminants, fishery, rabbitry, snailery, swine, grass cutter, companion animals like dog, like pigeon, and so on. Then before I move to the next phase, I just want to state here that you can be a consultant as an agriculturist, as an expert in agriculture. For example, for some time now, I've been a consultant to lawyers, to medical doctors, to actors, to other lecturers. And I don't do it free. I have to, charge you a token just for you to be serious about it. We have examples of actors that are making it big in agriculture. For example, John Dumelo of Ghana is an actor. He has a very big farm for poultry. He has maize farm, and he's always proud of it. We have lawyers that have feed mill. We have economics. We have those that study religion that have big feed mills in Nigeria and in. What are the other types of activities that you can do apart from crop farming and livestock farming? The first one is industry. The term agro-highlight use of agricultural produce or products as raw material to produce other finished products. It also refers to the produce and inputs in the farm. We have, for example, animal feed mill. I started my career as in working for a feed mill company. I rose to the post of plant manager before I joined the University of Ilorin. Then we have another one. It could be broiler processing unit, just an off-taker. You buy broiler, you process it and you sell it. We have gari production, low-cost bean production, processing and production. Then it could be premix factory. We have graduates from our department that are into premix production, and they are producing premix for the world, not for Nigeria alone. We have abattoirs, milling and grinding factory, agrochemicals, seed companies, veterinary company, farm waste, and agro marketers. The next point I'm going to discuss now is, sorry, somebody just, sorry for the interruption. Can you see my screen? Hello? Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, Dr. Foluke, yes, we can.
Okay, I'm sorry for the interruption. Somebody just interrupted me. I want to go to new share now. Share it. Okay, so the next thing now is agro value addition in agriculture. Value addition in agriculture. If you are into value addition, you are going to be adding value to agricultural products. It is an idea that has the potential to change production in agriculture and convert it to wealth. For example, you can get peanuts, convert it to snacks. This cast rice meal is a product from a starve of tech, and it's cassava plus rice, and he's selling it and think he's making his money from it. This yam flour is from a banker, a UBA. She's packaging it and converting it. This guinea fowl is actually my product. I just feel selling my guinea fowl live is not making me to have more profits. I have to grill it and sell it to people. Other value addition from my farm are catfish, rabbits, snails, and so on. But what are the essential tips for value addition business? You need to locate cheaper and steady source of raw material. You need to master a unique processing skills. You need to get a nice and unique packaging. You have to get a sweet description of the product name or a brand name that is very interesting. You always ask for your customer preference. Then try to offer delivery services. A lot of people are busy. So, but when you offer delivery services, it will make you to have more customers. We have names in the past that we have given to students to use and is working for them. For example, Just Snails, Point Super Blend Pepper, Spicy Juice, and so on and so forth. The next thing I'm going to talk about this morning is about agricultural value chain. I call this set of people smarter. They are very smart because they don't involve themselves in much stress of production, and they move wholesalers, retailer, and transporter. They deal with input suppliers, grower, transport, storage services, processing industry, and retail industry, and their targets are actually the consumers. Those people in value chains are the one making the coolest of the money. The next on my talk this morning is about agricultural innovation technology. I call them Agri Innovate Tech. They are actually the smartest. They are farmer, but they use innovations, and because they use innovation, they kind of have higher yield for their production. And when you have higher yield, you are going to make quite a lot of money from it. For example, bee vectoring, precision agriculture, indoor vertical farming, livestock technology farming, laser scarecrow, farm automation, real-time kinetic tech, mini chromosome tech, formulation software experts, feed management software, water management tech. All these are very smart. They just sit down in their office and they get money from agri business. How can you be successful? For you to be successful, accurate accounting record is very important. At times when I see farmers going through a lot of stress, I used to find out what is really the cause. Some of them will tell me that they are not getting what they. And I will ask them, where is your budget? Where is the money you spent? How much are you taking? How much are you making from it? How much did you invest? They will not be able to tell me. They will just say, when I have money, I just took a plot of land and I planted maize. No, you need to have a financial statement. You need to have information on cash control. You need to be able to track your cost, your staff, and their performance. Routine measurement of your business performance is important. Prompt identification of problem area, including theft, fulfillment of tax obligation, because when you're paying your tax, you will know that the money is not for you only. Then you'll be able to put your tax on top of whatever you're selling. Then accurate budgeting, debt control, tracking, and retrieval of debt and management. All these are important to be successful in agriculture. Now, the prospects. I want to tell you this morning that we are lucky to be here, because if you have not been practicing farming, maybe after this talk, you will just decide to start somewhere. For vegetable garden, fruit garden, fish pond, snailery, broiler keeping, layers keeping, produce storage, that is palm oil, cassava, yam, legume storage. You store when the products are on season and you sell during the off season. You can either save this from your annual income, or you make it if you are into it full time. For vegetable garden, we have 250 versus 5% savings. For fruits, 200 versus 15. For fish pond, 40 versus 10. For snary, 50 versus 15. Broiler keeping, 25 versus 15. Layers, 20 versus 15. And for produce storage, you can get between 30 to 50% of your money that you invest, depending on how you sell your produce to people. Then, backyard farming. If you don't want to go into maybe commercial aspect, you just want to consume it, you want to eat it between you and your family, it's fun, it's exercise, it's unity of purpose, it brings the family together. You can practice bag planting, you can plant yam, vegetable, you can do fruits, you can do plastic pond for your fish, all in your backyard. I have pictures of yam harvested from backyard farming. There was a particular period that we harvested the yam that weighed 10 kg from sack. It was an exciting moment for the whole family. So please, you can try this, and you will see that food will not be a problem again now that the situation is even very tough in the country. Product idea can be farm to market, farm to factory, farm to table, farm to kitchen, from the farm. You are going to have abundant food and you will eat and your family will be okay if you are a farmer.
Please, Doc, may you return to the previous slide?
Okay, ma. Farm to market. Is it this slide, ma? Backyard farming? Okay.
Dr. Makuku, you're muted. So sorry, you're muted.
Okay, the one you said, farm to factory, farm to what? It's the one
okay.
I just want.
Okay, farm to, okay, yes, ma. Now, farm, you can brand your products based on the source and based on your target, where the product is going to. For example, your product idea could be farm to market. That is, when you harvest, you take it directly to market for yourself. It could be farm to factory. When you harvest, you store like grains. And when you store your grains, your target is to. So those one will be farm to the factory. There could be farm to the table. For example, your fruits or your items that, you just, after harvesting it, what you do to sell it for people that will use it for something else, for consumers directly. It could be farm to the kitchen, that is, you harvest, then you sell for those that are selling food. We call them buka people, bukateria in Nigeria, or fast food, or those that are selling pepper soup and all those sort of things. Then farm to snacks are mainly fruits, your orchard. When you harvest them, you sell for those that will consume it. You can have family friends that like particular fruits that you want to sell to. So these are all product idea that you can have in and now cap everything together and to show us that we can have farm to kitchen, your vegetable, after harvesting it, you take it to the kitchen, your snails, after processing it, you take it to the kitchen. It could be farm to snacks, you process your peanuts, then you consume it directly. It could be farm to table, you harvest your banana, you blend it in the morning. I take a lot of fruits, to keep my skin and myself healthy. So that would be farm to table, to consumption directly. Now, the next thing on my presentation now is our exercise. I purposely put this exercise together because I'm a teacher. Do you want to be a farmer, or do you want to be a shepherd? Do you want to be a marketer, or do you want to be a processor? If you can score yourself and you scored about better than 70% in any of these attributes or attitude, then you know where you belong to. For example, a farmer, before I go home, you have to decide, follow me as I'm stating it, decide who you are, and put your answer in the chat box, whether you're going to be a farmer or you are a farmer, or whether you're going to be a shepherd, a marketer, or a processor. For a farmer, you must score high in being a planner, a future thinker, a kind-hearted person, a hardworking person with a lot of energy, calm and wise, principled, and you must be lover of nature. For a shepherd, you have to be a leader, You must be trustworthy. You must not cheat your animal. If you cheat them, they will cheat you back. You have to be proactive. You have to be emotional, be protective. Then you need to love being celebrated. Be a celebrity. When you enter a pen, you see chicken shouting, you see an animal running towards you. If it is a layer's pen, they will even be singing for you, shouting, Then you must be caring. You shouldn't be somebody that won't be caring. Then for you to be a marketer, you need to be swift. You have to be a goal-getter. You need to be good in human relations. You need to have creative ability. A politician, you must have competitive ability, and you must have the willpower to sell. For processor, you have to be strong-hearted. You can't be a faint-hearted person if you're a processor, because you need to kill an animal. You need to see blood coming out. And then you have to be focused. You have to be a waste manager. You need to be someone that can persevere. You have to be hygienic, and you must be a risk taker. Then you must be flexible at the same time. So put your answer in the chat box, whether you are a farmer, you are a shepherd, you are a marketer, or you are a processor. I'm going to contact you to see how I can work along with you. And if you want to be everything, just put everything. But you can actually be a farmer and a shepherd at the same time, but you need to start from somewhere. So where do you want to start from? Just put it in the chat box. So while we do this, I'll continue to the conclusive part. In conclusion, for you to be a successful agripreneur, you have to be patient. You need to start very small. Know your capacity. You need to start with the easiest one. You have to pay attention to every details and quality. You need to be unique and original. You don't have to be greedy. You need to practice target marketing for you to make much more profit. You need to practice the idea of taking order and do delivery for your customer. You need to keep record. If you don't know how to do it, just download Expensify. I use Expensify. Download Expensify. Your expenses will be, you record it on it. At the end of the day, you get what your profit is, and that will even encourage you more to try it again and again. You have to be somebody that energizes your customer. You need to have good relationship with people. You don't fight anybody. You make everybody. You have peace around people. Then failure is the beginning of success. If you try it once and it failed, don't give up. If you try it once and you are not getting it in agriculture, don't give up. You can own a garden and feed your family one. You can till the soil and enrich your life. Then you can eradicate poverty. So earn a living from hard work. Try to be an agripreneur. Agripreneur is for everybody, while agriculturist is only for the experts. You can start a little with a lot of passion. For example, you can use the farmer's approach or the shepherd approach. Start a little and try it and see how it will work. You can start packaging your products. I got this from Food Business Academy during the course of preparing for this presentation. It's a single delivery from a family, whereby you have a carton, then you now prepare a list as if you're going to a big restaurant. Family will now select what they want. We want palm oil, we want ugu, we want egusi, we want crayfish, we want pepper. Then you pack everything in a carton and you deliver it to the family, and they pay your money. Make sure they pay before delivery. In agri business, it's payment before delivery. You can also advertise your business idea. I have marketers approach here. I have processors approach, processing of pepper to different forms and selling it for students and staff. So these are all ideas from agribusiness that can make you a very sound agripreneurship. And I have a special announcement to make before I allow questions and interactions. During the course of preparing for this, I was fortunate to meet the CEO of JR Farm, and I told him about the program, and he said, well, any students that attend, if they're interested in joining them in carrying out a survey, they should just send one-page summary of today's presentation and their resume to our Gmail, asbunilearning@gmail.com. Shortlisted students will be interviewed and best will be selected for the training, and the offer, which will probably come up in September 2023. And at the end of it all, I want to say the task for an agripreneur is not to be one or the other, but to embrace the way of farmer while holding on to the heroes of the shepherd. With the two, food is sure and poverty is finished. be an agripreneur. As for me, everything I started in life with a lot of hope for positive outcome. I don't give up easily because I will start without knowing how to really make it work. But I take it a day at a time. I learn as I go. I improve on my mistake. I try again and again. I keep on moving with positive energy. I don't quit. Then I want to advise upcoming agripreneurs, stop overthinking it. Start the business, write that book, plan your budget, take that course, pursue that ambition, focus on your health and wellness. Take it one day at a time. It will get better. The sky is wide enough for all the flying birds. And I was giving 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes. I hope I've not exceeded my time. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, could I ask you to unmute whilst we give a round of applause to Dr. Foluke for this marvelous lesson? Thank you so much. And could I just say that we will have questions for Dr. Foluke, but because our second speaker has had an emergency that has kept her away, I've had two farmers kindly step in for a Q&A. So we're going to move to having the Q&A with our two farmers who are on the call, and then we will give space to questions. Because they have given us of their time, I don't know if they will be able to take questions from the floor, but if you have particular questions for them as well, then I'll ask you to please bear with us. I'm going to ask them a few questions first, and then hopefully we'll be able to take some questions from the floor as well. So Dr. Foluke, if I could ask you to kindly stop sharing for us, and I'll just ask Mrs. Frida Manful and Mr. Ray Snowden to kindly put on their cameras for our Q&A. And thank you ever so much for stepping in at such short notice. So
thank you.
That's just fantastic.
I want to unmute. Thank you.
Dr. Irene.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, this has been wonderful. It's so good that I don't know. I mean, everything else is so practical and real.
That's
so
right.
I hope we have learned a lot. Unfortunately, I need to jump into another meeting again. I'm sorry for joining late. I was in another meeting again. And so today is quite a day for me. But thank you, Dr. Foluke, and thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, the two farmers who are going to help us with the question and answer. My name is Dr. Violet Makuku, Director Global Quality Assurance Association. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Makuku. Dr. Foluke, could I ask that you stop sharing for us, please?
Yes, I'm just looking, I'm trying to get my screen back. I don't, that's what I want to do.
No problem at all. Hopefully,
I've been trying to stop. Okay, let me try to stop sharing. Okay, so I hope I've stopped.
It may be on its way. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I've stopped it. I've stopped sharing.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. And Dr. Foluke, we're going to give the audience a chance to ask you questions shortly, but we're just going to bring Mr. Ray Snowden and Mrs. Frida Manful on screen to answer a few questions for us. So please, could I ask Auntie Frida and Uncle Ray to kindly share their cameras with us, please?
Yes, Frida is here. I'm having a little challenge with my camera, so if you can give me a moment.
No problem at all.
Yes,
we can see your name.
All right.
Please bear with me. I'm in the car driving as well.
No problem at all. You have flexed incredibly for us, so we are just so grateful that you've agreed to kindly share a few thoughts with us this morning and afternoon in some of our places now. Okay. So whilst Mrs. Manful is trying to sort out her camera, and Mrs. Manful, if that doesn't happen, we will have your lovely voice anyway, so that won't be a problem at all. So we thought we would ask two farmers alongside Dr. Foluke to share soon. And if I could start with Mr. Soa So, Mr. Snowden, what we'll do is we'll ask the same question to both of them, but we'll start with Mr. Snowden on this occasion, and then we'll swap around. So, Mr. Snowden, could you tell us what gave you the idea of going into farming? Because I believe you did not start out as a farmer.
No, I didn't. I trained to be an accountant, but farming was always a passion. I always felt farming, being in Africa, being a Ghanaian, farming was the way to go. If one wanted to be successful in business, then one had to look at agriculture as a serious business. The reason I said that was I was fortunate enough to study my latter years in the UK, and I very quickly realized that the wealthiest people in Europe were all farmers, were all engaged in agriculture. But then coming back to Africa, I realized that in Africa, we didn't take farming that seriously. In fact, most of the people I knew who were in farming were treating farming as a hobby. It was seen more as a status symbol to have a farm somewhere where you could go over the weekend. And it wasn't really treated as a viable agribusiness venture. And that was one of the reasons why it took me a long time to even get involved, because everyone would discourage you, especially in Ghana. Everyone would discourage you and tell you it was too risky, you would lose money, you couldn't make money, and that the landscape was fraught with failure. But I decided to bite the bullet, and I've been farming now for the last 5 years, and I only wish I had done it sooner. I have no regrets at all.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Snowden. I really sympathize, and I kind of get where you're coming from, because we've just gone into a small venture. And when I called my father and said, oh, could I send your driver to go and look at this piece of land? He told me not to saddle his driver with responsibility, because that could be such a dangerous thing. So that's the kind of thing we hear all the time. Mrs. Manful, could we please bring you on next? Could you tell us what gave you the idea of going into farming, please?
Well, for me, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I've always had a passion for farming. Growing up, we always had a backyard garden, and it was such a joy to, get food from the backyard to the table. And so, starting work as a banker and thinking of, well, I'm going to be retired sometime, and what do I do with myself when I'm retired? I just decided that it would be lovely. It would be lovely to have a farm, to go to, and not just something on a small scale, but something that would be commercially viable. So I went out, just took some of my savings, got myself some land, and I did a little research, because I wasn't just going to do farming for the sake of it. I wanted some money rolling in. And I realized that mangoes had a higher economic yield than even cocoa that we were doing so well with. So I got myself a tidy piece of land, and then I did some research, got some expert advice, brought in some agronomists, and it has been a learning curve, because then, it was something new, and some mistakes were made, but eventually, and I started in 2007. Eventually, I can say that I am a mango farmer, selling directly to a processing company that exports to Europe. So that is where I am at the moment. It has to travel, but it's a very interesting one and very rewarding. So
fantastic. Yes. Thank you so much. So you told us about the same thing that Mr. Snowden mentioned, the fact that you had a passion. And I think
Mhm.
Dr. Foluke also highlighted the fact that not only were you passionate, unlike me, where I think, oh, I'd like to plant, I just go ahead and
Yeah.
put something in the ground. You did some research,
Mhm.
you got expert advice, you made sure you tested the soil for
Yeah.
the mangoes you were trying to grow, and you realized that mangoes would have an even greater return than cocoa. That's so smart. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Snowden, could you tell us the type of farming you're into and whether you went through similar processes before starting, please?
Yes. I'm an organic farmer, and we primarily growing pineapples and coconuts at the moment, but we're looking to expand into other crops as well.
Wow. And
Yeah, we also undertook exactly the same exercise. We had to do soil tests because when we decided to go into farming, we decided to approach it scientifically and as a real business and not as a hobby. So it meant I had to go back to school. I spent about 6 months studying, I was on YouTube all the time, on reading up everything I could on pineapples and coconuts, talking to all the experts, and then we decided which part of the country was best for both coconuts and pineapples. So yes, you do require some amount of research and some amount of study before you start, especially if you're going to take it seriously. And then that's exactly what we did.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much. So again, we hear these pieces of advice, and I think that one of our objectives today will be for at least 80% of us to get into farming once we've heard in some way or other. And I noticed that both Uncle Ray and Auntie Frida have said, they chose to do it seriously, not just to dabble. And I was at a graduation from the Accra Business School in May. And the guest speaker was saying, in terms of tackling our problems in Africa, we need to eat what we grow and grow what we eat. So stop all this importation. And I believe that we can start a greater movement by getting into that. Thank you ever so much for the starting point that you've given us. So in terms of how you went about starting out, you've more or less told us about it. Could you tell us how you raised the finance? Auntie Frida told us that she used some of her savings. How did you raise the finance, if we're not speaking out of turn, please?
Okay. For us, like I said, I studied as an accountant, so I understood the importance of doing your homework in terms of costings and proper accounting records and all of that, working capital and all of that. So a lot of the initial capital was from savings, but I also took on a partner to share a bit of the risk. So I have a partner who's in business with me, and we're fully self-funded. We haven't taken on any debt at the moment. We've also funded the farm through grant applications. So we've been fortunate that we've had some support from other organizations, support organizations to the agricultural space, who've supported us with grants to help us in the organic space that we find ourselves in. So those are the two primary sources of funding for us. And
Oh, fantastic. I wonder whether you would be up for sharing the names of a couple of these organizations that we can all research, please.
Surprised when I got into the industry how much support there was for agriculture in terms of training, in terms of financial support, technical capacity. There's a whole ecosystem out there to support agribusiness if only you would tap into it. The challenge we have here is that a lot of people don't find agriculture sexy enough, so people think it's still a peasant man's business. But there's a lot of support out there. The key institutions that will support you are USAID, which is a U.S. government's support agency for agri. There's also the Dutch support system called HortiFresh, and that's a Dutch-based institution. Then you have the Germans. The Germans also have a support system through an organization called GIZ. Then you have the UN. The UN also has a support agency called WACOM, WACOMP. And they also, the UN uses WACOM as an agency to support grants to the industry. So these are the 4 key agencies. We also fair trade certified. So one of the key things we did as a farm was to take on the certifications that would allow the West to take us seriously. So Fair Trade was one of the organizations that we partnered with and were certified Fair Trade Farm. And that also comes with a lot of support, technical support in terms of training. So building up capacity of the farmers, building our own capacity as farmers, but also helping us to access markets that normally would not have been open to us if we're just local agribusinesses.
Fantastic. I missed the name of the Dutch body that you mentioned, please.
Hortifresh.
Wow.
It's spelled HORTI, and then the word fresh, all one word. Hortifresh.
Lovely.
So
thank you ever so much.
Cultural. The full word is horticultural fresh. Hortifresh. Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Mrs. Manful, could I come back to you, please? I'm writing so many notes. I believe this time next year I should be more of a farmer than I've been my whole life. So, Auntie Frida, just to ask, in terms of staff, how did you get your staff? How did you make sure they were the right kind of staff? And what has been your experience? Because one of my friends was saying they've had to dismiss staff, etc., etc. Uncle Ray, we'll come to you with the same question shortly. Over to you, please.
Okay. When I started out, obviously I was taking labor from the community and getting the agronomists to train them. But I realized that there wasn't a serious commitment because they were not used to working in a disciplined way. So at a point in time, there was quite a bit of a turnover. And then I managed to recruit from outside the community. And fortunately, we have an association that has a partnership with our main buyers, which are the exporting companies. And it is in their interest to make sure that their suppliers are meeting certain standards. So they organize a lot of in-house training to which they invite farm workers, farm owners. And so what I have been able to do is to send my staff on regular training programs. It also serves as a motivator for them. And then it also expands their knowledge and skill base. So that is what has actually helped sustain the management of the farm, over a period of time. So regular training, regular refreshers, and a lot of supervision, and regular visits by the technical support team, has helped, maintain a standard of management practices, farm management practices that are acceptable for the export market, because the mangoes that are picked are actually processed and exported. Yeah.
Wow. Of course. Fantastic. Thank you ever so much. And Mr. Snowden, when I bring you in, could you also speak to the idea of corruption and avoiding it? I was in a taxi, I was traveling somewhere in Ghana, and I heard about somebody who had a provision store, and every time a worker would come in, they would come with their kenke and eat sardine from the shop. I mean, how do you manage that sort of thing, please? Or avoid that sort of thing, please?
Okay. I'll speak to the labor issue, then I'll touch on the issue of corruption. For us, we haven't been as fortunate as the previous speaker in terms of labor. We have a core management team on the farm that has been there with us for quite a while, and they undergo regular training, as the previous speaker spoke. Being certified, organically certified internationally, is one of the key components of your certification, that you undergo regular training. So that fortunately, training on best agricultural practices, as well as on organic farming practices. Where we have a challenge is with the local labor. We've also had to look outside the community for the local labor. Unfortunately for us, we find that the local labor are not keen on farming. a lot of the youth are rather interested in coming to the city to look for jobs in the banks and in industries like that. So we're trying to change the concept of farming and make it look more attractive so that the youth stop that migration to the city and rather stay in the community. So for us, labor is a big issue. We struggle with labor. We have to, every season, we have to migrate labor into the neighborhood to do the work, and then the labor leaves again. So it's a challenge we're trying to sort out. We're also part of an association. We're part of the largest organic pineapple association in the country. And the whole association has the same challenges. Because we are organically certified, the staff have to undergo special training to adopt best practices where organic certification is concerned. So you can't apply fertilizers, you can't be seen to be burning firewood and things like that. So it's quite a tough and stringent training process they have to undergo. And I think that might also be a challenge in terms of why they don't want to be part of the association in terms of the labor pool. Touching on the issue of corruption, it's the bane of our society at the moment. We also have our same issues. You go to the farm when they're least expecting you, and you find they're harvesting without your knowledge and trying to sell on the local market, trying to earn an extra buck. We tend to produce our own compost, and because it's organic compost, it's in high demand. So every now and then you see pilfering of compost, pilfering of coconuts. Coconuts are like cash. It's more difficult to harvest pineapples because pineapples you have to undergo a process before they become mature for harvest. So it's more difficult. But with coconuts, once they're ready, people just take them off the tree and sell them ready for cash. So it's a big problem in terms of pilfering. What we've introduced into the community is a high deterrent of zero tolerance. So if we catch you stealing, we report you to the local community leaders and we get the police involved. So that has stopped the pilfering somewhat, right? It still happens. The only way to counter that is regular visits. So we tend to visit unannounced quite often. So between my partner and myself, 7 days a week, we show up on the farm, unexpected, unannounced, and that tends to help keep some sanity on the farm.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Mrs. Manful, could I bring you in on that particular point as well? And then Dr. Faluke, I want to come back to you with this issue of corruption and mindset, because you work within agriculture. Mrs. Manful, please.
Yes. There has been some pilfering on my farm, but on a much smaller scale. The advantage I have is that my farm is not close to the local community. You have to travel a bit to get there, and it's quite a distance away from any market center. So anybody, for a very long period of time, mine was the only mango farmer in that area. So anybody who was seen carrying mangoes obviously must have had a visit, was coming from my farm. But what happens is that once the mangoes are ready, I sell to the company in truckloads. So they come, we harvest, and they ship. What is left on the trees is normally sold to market women who may come in from a nearby market like Mankasim or so. So we have a very small window for harvesting and clearing the farm. So it doesn't leave a lot of room for people to come in and then, make a living out of pilfering. But we do get people walking through the farm, and they may take a few to eat. And I actually do leave a few mangoes on the tree, and I say to my workers, the community can come in and eat something, so yeah, eat some fruits. So yes, but I think that I don't have that problem on that kind of scale. Yes.
What you both just said, I think is a whole project on its own as well, especially with what Mr. Snowden said. Dr. Faluke, would you like to come in on that point as well, please?
Thank you very much, Ma. In agriculture or farming generally, corruption is a very serious case. Like I mentioned, under the attributes of an agripreneur, you must be vigilant and you of which I said prevering and stealing. It's very common in most farms, and it's part of the thing that are wrecking a lot of farms, I think, pulling them down. Every staff want to take a bite. They want to steal from what you are producing. There was a particular period in my layers farm. Every Sunday, the guy that was keeping my birds, we pack the heads, the big ones. And if we go and sell it to people at a very ridiculous price. You know, for example, let's say a crate of an egg that time was $100. This guy will sell the eggs for people at $2. He was caught one day, and I was just curious that, okay, why are the chicken not laying big eggs on Sunday? I can't understand. Why is it that on Sunday they will not lay big eggs? Is it because do they go to church, or what is happening? I don't understand. So I have to watch, and you know, it's because we all go to church on Sunday, and this guy will not select the biggest of the biggest egg, and he will go and sell it. So corruption is a very bad thing. It's in farming, it's one of the things that is pulling the farmers back. But you can actually control it. One, you have to be there. You need to be vigilant. You can't even trust the person that you asked to watch them, because eventually they will be selling for the person or be giving the person a kind of gift. So you can't trust them. Like Mr. Snowden said, if you are caught, the best thing is for you to be arrested, then hand over to the police. And there's a particular farm, if you are caught stealing egg, the owner will cook like 3 crates of egg for you and ask you to eat it. Yes, you must finish it. If you don't finish it, you are in trouble. And there's no way you can eat 3 crates of eggs. So most of the staff are always careful because they don't want to die young. You know, you can get yourself choked in the process of eating crates of eggs. So there must be a severe punishment for anybody caught stealing your product. It's very easy to steal agricultural products, and it's one of the things that is discouraging people. And you know, people will just go into it and they will just abandon it, because people will steal your egg, they will steal your chicken. Some will purposely kill your chicken and tell you that it's mortality. So what I used to do in that case is that if I have mortality, don't eat it, don't take it on. I would rather convert my mortality to food for some other animals. So you need to devise a lot of method. As you go through training in each aspect of the agripreneur, you will know how to control this corruption and prevent.
Well, thank you. Whilst we're on the subject of challenges, Mr. Snowden, could I come back to you? So you mentioned the challenge of staffing, and we've just talked about pilfering. And what other challenges have you faced as a farmer, a serious farmer, and how have you overcome them, please?
Okay, just like the doctor mentioned earlier, we started small, and then just to learn the business, because it was new business to us, learn the business, make all the mistakes we had to make while it was small, and then scale up. So we're quite a large farm now. And with size comes a lot of challenges. One of the biggest challenges you find with farming, especially in our industry, is finding a market for your produce. Okay, and you'd find that the off-takers locally have only a limited capacity. So we also sell to a local processor who sends processes, adds value to our raw fruits and exports. And we find he has a limited capacity. So we tend to have a lot of what I call post-harvest losses if he doesn't buy. So what we've started doing as a farm is to add value to our produce. So we're drying our fruits, we processing them into jams, we're canning them as well, so that we post-harvest losses have reduced dramatically, almost by 90%. So we have very few post-harvest losses. The rest is pushed into composting. So that's marketing is a big challenge. Okay. The other big challenge we have is, like I said, is in labor. That has been a big issue for us, and that actually impacts, because you're organic. You can't control weeds with pesticides or any chemical. So it's quite labor intensive. So when you have challenges with labor, it becomes a problem. The other red herring is water. People take water for granted, but in
Mm.
Africa, you tend to find a lot of farmers rely on the rainfall pattern for farming. We've had to introduce an irrigation system, and once you grow in scale, you have to mechanize, and that comes with additional cost. So mechanization is also a big challenge, because looking for the money to mechanize, to introduce an irrigation system comes with this additional cost. So for us, the key challenges right now is access to funds. There's funding available, but for farming, the cost of funding is too high. So we're having to be creative in terms of borrowing from friends and family and the like, because we can't go to the commercial markets to borrow. But we've been fortunate, like I said, in terms of applying for grants. And these aid agencies I mentioned earlier have been quite supportive in terms of grant applications for farms like us. So we've been fortunate to have some additional funding from these bodies. But for your typical farmer, capital, labor, and mechanization are big issues.
Thank you ever so much for being so candid with us. Mrs. Manful, could I please come to you for other challenges that you face, or perhaps some of the ones Mr. Snowden has mentioned might be relevant to you as well?
Yes. Yeah, some of the challenges are common to us as well, especially when we have a season where there's a glut. There's so many fruits that the off-takers can't take all the fruits because of their capacity. Then you have to find other channels of selling. So what I have been fortunate to do is to be able to sell to some of the supermarkets, like ShopRite. But even then, after that, you probably need to bring in the market women who come in and don't appreciate what it takes to produce the fruit, and they want it for much cheaper than you should have. You should get it. So they you may make a loss selling to them, but the important thing is to cut your losses. So whatever is left over, you can give to them. But that happens once in a while. Yes, and funding is a very big issue. So I have had to, a lot of the time, do self-funding. Sometimes family takes something from family, and then but I don't think that my farm is as big as, my operation is probably not as big as Mr. Snowden's. So it has been manageable over a period of time. And I grew gradually. It wasn't all at a go. So over a period of time, I got the support that I needed to grow. Sorry about the interruption in the background. Yes.
No problem at all.
Yes. Yeah, so those are the main problems. Yeah, funding is a problem. Sometimes off-taking of the fruit could be an issue, but to a large extent, it is okay. Yeah, it is a seasonal thing. So, and the difference between probably the mango farming and probably Mr. Snowden's farm is that with mango, it's seasonal. And where my farm is, I have two windows. Other places, there's just one harvest window. I have two. So you go through the season at a particular point in time. Because of the climate, you can only harvest, the mango's only ready within a specific window of time. So once you harvest, you're then going back. It's a cycle.
Yes.
It's not like pineapple, where depending on how you grow your pineapples, you can actually harvest every 2 weeks or something. So mine, it's easier to manage a mango farm, which is a seasonal event, rather than, for example, Mr. Snowden, who's looking at coconuts, and coconuts you can harvest probably every 2 weeks, or even every week, depending on what you've grown. So I think that I have a simpler structure, a simpler cycle. So my farm is in the central region of Ghana, and because of the climate there, I'm able to have two harvests a year. At the end of the year, in the middle of the year, kind of. And so once you harvest your fruits, your farm is bare, and then you start again. So for the next season, so it's an easier management there. Yes.
Fantastic. I think it's serendipitous that we've got two farmers, one that has chosen to do something that's kind of more on the beat and another that has two seasons. I know which one I would go for, being a woman wanting an easy life. Mr. Snowden,
Yeah.
I noticed you wanted to come in. Please go ahead.
Yes. I just wanted to add to what Mrs. Manford had said about the market. It's, with scale, as you get larger, your local market is very limited in how much they can take on. So you have to grow organically and look for markets outside the country. And to do that, you're going to have to invest in some travel. We've been fortunate. We've been supported by some of these agencies, especially the Germans. GIZ have been very helpful in terms of paying for trips for us to attend trade fairs in Germany.
Wow.
We've been to trade fair called Fruit Logistica. If anyone's interested in fruits, I would recommend that they attend Fruit Logistica just to get a feel of what's going on in terms of the West and the way agric is treated. It really opened our eyes to the potential of the business that we have. And I must encourage anyone who wants to get into farming that it's a huge market. We just have to position ourselves to be able to export to the West. The demand we can't meet the demand in the West, but there's a criteria to meet that demand, which you have to follow through best agricultural practices, which the main speaker just talked about. But you also need to get some certifications. Once you can do those two, there's a huge market in the West to buy our fruits because you meet the standard, the quality that they're looking for, and you can meet the volumes. The sky's the limit. And so we've been positioning our market and our business to be able to address that demand. And we're hoping that we can start exporting this year to the West. But like I said, it takes a while, and with the skill comes some challenges. But once you can address those challenges, it's very good business, very profitable business as well.
Fantastic. I think some of us who often in the classroom could do with some work experience on these farms to just open our minds up as well. And I just wondered about intra-trade within Africa. So Mrs. Manford, would you like to comment on other countries in Africa? Because you're based in Ghana, as is Mr. Snowden, but have you considered that? I know perhaps you also deal with the West.
Yes, I haven't really looked at it because just like Mr. Snowden said, I'm currently working on my Global Gap certification, and that gives you a platform to look at other markets, really. I haven't looked at the region because they have similar climatic conditions for mangoes. And so usually they have mangoes when we have mangoes as well. What I noticed that even for our local off-takers, the factories, when we have our season is over, they're importing from surrounding countries like Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso. So really the target is probably not the immediate regional market, but probably beyond that. The similar climatic conditions means that we have similar fruits along that.
I understand. You see that this is where knowledge is always power. People like me will say, "Oh, free African trade area." But yes, Mrs. Snowden, did you want to add anything to that, please?
Yes. There is a bit of a potential, but just like Mrs. Manford said, we tend to produce very similar fruits right across the continent. Pineapples are grown in Uganda, East Africa, South Africa. So it's a challenge to try and export raw fruits to these countries. But where the opportunity lies is in the added value. If you process the raw material into, let's say, jams or into dried fruits or into juices, then it opens up a different market for you. So we're looking at exploring that. For example, we've had a big interest in canned pineapples in Kenya. And that took us by surprise, as well as the jams we make with pineapples. So we realized that if we add value to the raw material, we can definitely develop markets within Africa. It's very relevant. And the trials we sent to Kenya It was smooth. No duties were paid. So there is definitely an advantage if you can trade within Africa. So it's something that we all need to look at and explore and see how we benefit from.
That's fantastic. Thank you ever so much. I have one last question, and then I'd like to open up to the audience. So please prepare your questions. You can put them in the chat if you wish, and you can ask questions of Dr. Foluke, Mr. Snowden, and Mrs. Manful. So my last question is, are you doing any work with the universities in Ghana? And if not, would you be open to doing students, which will be conducted online, but that's on the side. Could I ask that question first to Mrs. Manful and then to you, Mr. Snowden?
No, I'm not working with any universities at the moment because I consider myself to be somewhere along the learning curve. So I probably am not yet in a place where, well, I guess for the basics, I could, impart some knowledge, but I probably still consider myself a student of agriculture. I don't know whether a student could be teaching another student, so. No, I haven't considered it yet because, yeah.
And Mrs. Manful, for me, I always think I'm eternally a student. And I think the best teachers are probably the students.
Well, if you say, if you put it that way, then that's, I get it.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think for us, what we would be looking at is a project that would help you. So rather than, and we would love for you to talk about your journey, but something, so Bioko Chocolates in Ghana, for example, gave our students a project to develop a marketing strategy for them. So our students spent a whole semester doing that, and they presented a strategy that Jean is now going to implement. And she actually was wanting to employ our students. And I said, no, better to employ students from Ashesi and other universities in Ghana to carry it out. But this is for a conversation on the side. Thank you ever so much. Mr. Snowden.
Okay.
Yes. We've engaged students, but not directly. We signed on to a program being run by the Standard Chartered Bank. And they have a program called the Challenges Program. So they what they do is they screen applications and they present them to agribusinesses and various types of businesses. So you write to the Challenges Program, tell them what your needs are as a business, and then they will match you with students on a 3 to 4 month cycle. And it's more like an internship. You don't pay for the students. You probably just give them some pocket money for transport or food whenever they come onto the farm. But most of the cost is borne by the Standard Chartered Bank as part of the program. At the end of the program, if the students meet your requirements, then you are open to offer them a full-time job. We've been on this Challenges program for a year, and we've taken on the first cohorts of students. We took 2 students, a gentleman and a lady. The lady left the program halfway through because of family problems. But the gentleman that joined us, we've offered him a job because we found him very, very strong in all the areas that we're looking at, very committed, very keen. So we realized that would probably be our route in terms of working with the universities. Rather than go to universities directly, we'll have someone do this training, make sure that the students that are chosen are really fit for purpose before you engage them. You're going to go through a lot of trial and error, and that can be time consuming for us as a small business. So.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much. And Dr. Foluke, could I please bring you in on this? So in terms of your students and working with farms and so on, I noticed there was JR Farms, if my memory serves. And what sort of thing do you do, or do you plan on doing, please?
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Irene. I appreciate the question. Like I said at the beginning of my presentation, being an agriculturist means you are an expert and you are being paid for the job. So I am an agriculturist. I read B.Agric. After that, MSc Animal Production, PhD Animal Production. Then my focus area is breeding and genetics. So my first job was, I got it as a paid job as an agriculturist. So that made me an expert in the field. Despite being an expert, I still learn from day to day, new to some farms. When I left my first job as a manager of the Feed Masters Limited. So you can be a consultant to farms, and that you are selling your idea as an agriculturist. But you can be an entrepreneur or agripreneur. You can be born to be an agripreneur. That is when your passion comes out. You must be passionate about it. You are either a farmer or a shepherd or a marketer or a processor. We are all born to be one. That's a very fantastic one from Mr. Snowden. He's an he's born agripreneur, as well as Mrs. Manfu. You see, you can actually go into it with passion. So in the course of my experience as an agriculturist, I've been consulted to farms. J.R. Farms had his first degree in University of Ilorin in religion, but he's so passionate about agriculture. He just went into it, and he feed production. And I told him, you are going to pay me. I don't do it free of charge. I gave him a lecture for 1 month on Zoom on how to the rudiments of feed and feed milling, and he paid me my cool money. Then thereafter, he started growing. Presently he's having feed mill in Rwanda. He have one in Zambia. He's producing feed, and it's not the that's an economics in Ilorin. I also serve as a consultant for him at one point or at a time. So you can actually combine it. I want to encourage agricultural students not to think that we are encroaching into their work. You can get paid from what you go. Being an agripreneur is inborn. Everybody can be one. That one is sure. So there are some agriculturists that actually abandon the practice. They don't do it. But I cannot. Ever since I've been a graduate of agriculture, I've been practicing farming, whether crop or livestock farming. But majorly my crop is vegetables. I don't deal with annual crops or perennial crops or anything like that. Vegetables, and I have a little fruit garden. But for animal production, I do it from time to time, and I have much experience in that, in all types of livestock.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much. I'd like to open up now for anyone that might have a question. Please put your hand up just so we can identify you, and then you'll be able to unmute and ask your question. Taufik, you've been waiting. Over to you.
Thank you very much. That was a fantastic presentation by Doctor, my mentor.
Excellent.
Oh, well done. I'm a student. She has been helpful in my little farm. I'm actually into, I will call myself an emerging agripreneur. I'm actually into hydroponics farming and drip irrigation system farming on tomatoes and pepper. So I just want to commend Dr. Shola Ojo for all that she do. She's a very resourceful person, and she has been very helpful and full of energy. It was a great presentation and a great session, and I want to commend also the organizers of this program. Is a laudable one, and I hope that everybody that is in that has been in this session will attest to that this is a great program that is very very good for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saludin. And I don't know, Professor Dapo, could I hand the microphone over to you for comment or question, please?
After how long now? A couple of months. Thank you very much for lending your experience again. And I also want to thank Dr. Shalawdu for the business presentation. Well, I think in time past, most of our presentations have been focusing more on fashion. And it's, except for a couple of presentations by the time Mr. Snowden and the other lady went into entrepreneurship. And so now we are venturing more into the agri aspect of entrepreneurs. And it's quite enlightening that we have this and to know that we can really achieve a lot even from our backyard. One of the persons that was mentioned in the Entrepreneurship Center into hydroponic farming has been doing quite well. And in fact, I'm also trying to learn from him since we work together in this center. So it is encouraging to all of us, and I think we are already reaping the benefit of having this forum for people's development and personal achievements. JB Farms, like has been said, the young man is graduated from religious studies in University of Illinois, and now it's well-renowned international entrepreneur with businesses not only in Nigeria but also in Rwanda and Zambia. What has not been mentioned is that at our meeting with him, he has agreed to come up as one of our speakers in this Africa Speakers Bureau on entrepreneurship. We have assured him that he will not be speaking more than twice a year, but with the way he has embraced it, he may even volunteer to speak more than that. So we are moving, and like I said, we have a lot of entrepreneurs from University of Illinois, and this program is going to serve to encourage more of them. We hope that we're going to be able to bring some of them who are doing very well into our speakers forum subsequently, so that we'll get to know them, and it's going to then encourage others to come onto the business platform. I must also appreciate Dr. Irene for accepting to chair this session. She does fantastically well each time she chairs the session and really makes it an interactive one. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Dapo. And for those of you who don't know Professor Dapo, when he introduced himself as the director for the Entrepreneurship Center at the University of Illinois, I know his term of office is over. I thought that was all his job. And then I realized he was a cardiothoracic surgeon as well. And that just tells you about how people can have multiple identities and multiple skills. So he's one of my mentors, and we're very grateful for your input, sir. I just wonder, does anybody else have a question, please? Or do we have any other farmers in the room who would like to own up and tell us who they are and what they do, please? So I think Mr. Saludin told us who he was and the fact that he has a farm. Do we have any other farmers amongst us, please?
Well, Dr. Irene, I wouldn't know if Mr. Salahuddin would want to make a comment about his hydroponic farming. I think it's not at the control center now. Where I can see all of us at the control center at the moment, but he is engaged in this call. So if Mr. Salahuddin will want to make a comment about the hydroponic farming, it would be nice if you give him some opportunity for that.
Fantastic. Mr. Salahuddin, you have a couple of minutes to tell us about what you do, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Incidentally, or will I say coincidentally, I'm right now at my mini hydroponics farm. So I don't know if I can. I will. Okay. Can you see it?
Ah, yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. So this is it. These are tomatoes.
Wow.
So they are just they are coming up, and these are the peppers. He's trying to that flowers are about emerging.
Wow.
Can you see?
Yes, we can see.
So the flowers are about emerging. So the idea is actually to have a kind of urban farming where people can utilize the little space they have in their compound to grow what they eat. Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, we
I
can see
think,
it.
could I please ask
Yeah.
that we mute? Mr.
Yeah.
Sambo, could you please mute your microphone for us? Thank you so much.
Okay, ma.
No problem, sir.
Okay. Thank
Sorry,
you.
Mr. Saludin, please continue.
So, like I was saying, the idea is to have actually urban farming. The concept is urban farming. So we encourage people to utilize the little space they have. So space is no barrier. With this setup, with a setup like this, you can grow what you eat, especially vegetables like lettuce, the herbs, and tomato and pepper. You can have this. It can be automated. You can see there's buckets. The bucket contains nutrient. This is a nutrient water because hydroponics actually is growing plant using water and nutrients. And what you need apart from that is the growing medium. The growing medium, you don't need soil. You don't need soil. You just, what growing medium means is that what we support the plant to grow. But what the plant actually feed on are the nutrients. The alternative you have is for you to use the other system is aquaponics. So you use the effluent from fish. In that case, you grow fish, and the effluent from the pond, you run it through the pipes. So the plant take up the nutrients from it. So that is a little bit technical than this. So
Wow.
what you do here, all you do here is you get the nutrients. They sell them, and you may come up with your own combination if you have the technical know-how to do that.
Fantastic.
So,
thank you.
So this is what you do to make this kind of thing work.
Wow. Fantastic.
To make the setup like this work. So,
excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
I think that there'll be people making connections right across. I'm going to hand over for the last comment from Dr. Foluke, but I'd just like to acknowledge Comfort, who practices small-scale vegetable gardening, bucket and sack farming, yam, maize, and cucumbers, tomatoes included. I think the day I come to Nigeria, I'm just going to be spoiled for choice with fantastic food. We have a startup oil palm farmer, and the oil palm farmer would need a mentor if anybody would like to put themselves forward. It is that somebody said to me, we have lots of rookie farmers, and many of us are inspired to do much more than we're doing now. Dr. Foluke, you have the final comment, and could I ask everyone to please put you for a final photo, if that's possible.
Thanks, Velma. I just want to hold off and get done by data to join that. Need to create a viewing center meet. So agriculture, Mr. Snowden rightly said, add value to it whatever, and you get more money from it. Then you won't go broke. People will just be asking for your secret because you are eating good food, fresh vegetable, you are taking your fruits at will, and you will have, little money to do basic things that you want to do for yourself. If you go into produce storage, you target when the produce are on season, then you store it. Then by off season, you start selling your own in a unique way. Just be unique in your style of selling your products to people, and make sure that you are hygienic about it. This will bring more customers to you, and you make 1 or 2 penny for yourself. So that's just my conclusive part of it, that we have all born, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, could we give a round of applause to Dr. Foluke, Mr. Ray Snowden, and Mrs. Frida Manful? Thank you so much. We really appreciate this, and especially because Mr. Snowden and Mrs. Manful came on board as an emergency stopgap, and they came on board seamlessly, as though with your time and food for action as well. I believe that as many of us as possible that can switch on, you're looking your best, of course, and you'd like to switch on your camera, we'll just hold for 10 seconds more and take a photograph. Thank you so much. We see a few more of us coming on board. Lovely. Thank you. Please, thank you ever so much. There might be some of us who want to stay behind to chat, but on behalf of all the team, I would like to thank you for giving us 2 hours of your time to share and listen and hopefully learn together. Professor Dapo, would you like to close us off with a final comment, please?
Dr. Irene, I don't know, maybe it's intentional that you have requested that I make this comment, because this will be my last session as the Director of Entrepreneurship Center in the University of Ilorin, sitting here at the Control Center. So next time I will be at the Control Center, most likely I will be a visitor. So I will be applying to people like Mr. Hakim and Mr. Mujib to be at this Control Center, sitting down to listen to the session. But by and large, it's been a wonderful time, and it's been nice working with Dr. Irene, Dr. Makuku, Dr. Faith, Mr. Madiba, and everybody organizing this program, including Mrs. Aisha. It's been wonderful. I also want to thank all the participants that have been regular on this program. Me not being the director of the Entrepreneurship Center here should not mean that it should stop. And I think we should now move on to greater heights, and we should consider enrolling other institutions from other countries across Africa into this program, so that we can have a more robust discussion. And the key thing is networking. We need adequate networking in order for us to interact, exchange ideas, and then progress together. Thank you very much. It's been wonderful. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Dapo. And I think it's in your blood. So I look forward to continuing to work with you. Sometimes we're called director, but we're actually directing. And other times we're not called director and we're still director. That's my suspicion. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon if you have to leave us. And if you want to stay and ask questions, we'll keep the line open for another 10 minutes or so. Thank you. Have a very wonderful day. Bye-bye. So Taya would like the contact for Mr. Salahuddin. Mr. Salahuddin, would you like to pop your contact in the chat, please? I'm going to take the liberty of linking Mr. Snowden, Dr. Foluke, and Mrs. Manful up by WhatsApp.
Okay.
So have we got Mr. Salahuddin kindly putting his contact in the chat for us, please? And somebody said it will be nice to have me in Nigeria. I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't been before, but when I met Professor Dapo, he said to me, why not? Just come. I thought, oh yeah, actually, I should just take some action.
We are hopeful that you will be in Nigeria by January.
That sounds good.
Yes, I'm thinking of celebrating I'm thinking of we organizing the Founders Day.
Wow.
So that, yeah, we can mark it, when you guys are 1 year.
Fantastic.
And,
I think you need to adjust what you just said. When we are 1 year.
So that I will bring all the founders to Nigeria. Then
Wow.
it's going to be a physical meeting, and
that would be marvelous.
I just hope that I'll be supported to achieve that.
Yes, that's a lovely thing, a lovely dream. That I love it when the dreams come true for me.
Ethical business challenge that we are planning on, so that the trainers who are present here can already start inviting it on their students, and we can run it through all the various faculties. I remember the last meeting
from Bowen University in Osun State.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I have passed this across at our last meeting with the trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can shed more light on it, because some of them are also here. And when we are likely to go to have the guidelines for the challenge, so that we can run it through next year.
Yes. Oh, indeed. So I shared the outline on our founding members chat, but we'll have a conversation on the side and take it forward for sure.
Okay. That would be nice. We are waiting to receive more from you so that we can know about the guidelines, know what to do and what not to do, and how to do it better.
Fantastic. And it's a challenge about agriculture, so that's just marvelous as well. That's really good. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hop off to do some marking. The teacher's life continues.
Yeah.
But anyone who wants to stay, by all means, please feel free. Okay, have a good day and goodbye.
Thank you and bye-bye. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tech. Bye-bye.
Okay, wow.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Leave.
The other side. Bonnie I can't close it.